Welcome to B2B with Randy and Craig, where we speak to local entrepreneurs and learn about their journey. Welcome to B2B with Randy and Craig, where we discuss the rise, the falls,
and the kicking.
No, bro, Sunday morning. We're not kicking anybody anywhere.
No.
All right. This morning, we're here with Mike Holtman of Hallmark Abstract Services. Service. You said that, and I said services
Yes,
again.
sir.
So let's start over again. Mike Holtman, Hallmark Abstract Service.
Yes.
Welcome. Good morning. Appreciate you coming on.
Great to be with you guys. Thank you for having me.
So the first question, we're going to jump right in. What inspired you to get into title insurance?
So in 2008, the financial crisis, I was the owner of a commercial mortgage company. My wife was in a family business. They did hard money, we'll call them bridge loans, to residential construction guys.
Her business did.
Her family business.
Her family business.
So 2008 pretty much put us both out of business. And with two girls in college and my son about to go to college, we had to reinvent ourselves very quickly. We knew title insurance from our prior businesses, and you know what? We just decided that we're going to go in and create a company that is going to do things better and differently than other companies in the space.
So you recognize problems, shortcomings, and you're addressing those.
That is what we do. That is our intention.
Can you give us a feel for what some of those low-hanging fruit may be?
Sure. I mean, title insurance, most people consider it that it's a commodity, that it doesn't matter who you get it from, that it's all the same. Typically, the attorney that you're using as your buyer attorney is going to recommend a company, and, he doesn't, or she doesn't necessarily care what they charge because they're not paying the bill. So one key differentiating factor we have is that our title bills could be $500 to $1,500 less than other companies. The premium on title insurance is going to be the same no matter who you use.
Right.
But there are ancillary and junk fees that companies put on the bills. And, especially now when times are a little slow, they just stuff them with things
They're just burying things on there.
You probably never even heard of these things.
Got it.
So, I mean, that's one key differentiating factor because in this day and age, why should a title company be pocketing $500 or $1,500 of your money when you could use that money much better?
And I'm going to say that's much more than a title company, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Much more. I think one of the things that we should mention is, what is a title insurance? I think there may be people that don't even know what it is.
You know what? A lot of people don't know what it is because they don't really, the only time they know that there's title insurance is when they have to write a check out at the closing table.
Right.
So title insurance, basically, it's an important product. It's a key part of your transaction. It's ensuring that you have good, clean, clear title to the property that you're buying.
There's no liens on it. There's no
liens, that the people who are selling it actually have the right to sell it. Sometimes these days, if it's an estate situation, maybe two of the heirs are selling it and the third heir is being out and doesn't want it.
Right.
So, you have to really comb through everything very carefully. So we view our job as protecting the buyer. While we get deals mostly from real estate attorneys or regular attorneys, we're there. Our job is to protect the buyer in what's probably going to be the most expensive expenditure they may ever have in their lives.
And you can't have enough protection, that's for sure.
Can never have enough protection. You know what? And maybe they have a gun, maybe whatever it is. But you need to protect your house.
Got it.
And there are another way we differentiate is when you get to the closing table, you're going to get a title policy. You'll get it.
Right.
But what went into making that policy? There are different ways to attack different situations that arise. Some are good, some are long-lasting, and others are temporary potentially.
And based on the size of your company, I guess it's very hands-on. You're very involved in that.
Correct. Which brings me to another differentiating factor, which is that the company is owned by my wife and myself. When someone's dealing with us, they're dealing with the owner.
Yeah, that's key.
And that's huge. You're not going up, you don't have a salesman.
Right.
You're going up a ladder. We get and we make decisions.
So I got to ask, as a married couple in the business that are working together on a daily basis, how do you juggle being a parent and working with a business?
So and this will sound corny, but you know, when you get married, you should be marrying your soulmate and your best friend. So I have both. And you know, we kind
making me look bad.
Listen,
when this airs, I cannot. Christina cannot air.
We can have that discussion another time.
But I get it. No, that's key what you're saying.
But
it's true.
Even more, we have different roles. So I'm more on the outside, and she's more on the inside.
So you're front of the house, she's back of the house.
For the most part.
Got it.
And you know what? She's very organized, and you know, when something needs to be done, she doesn't stop until it's done. I'm a little more unorganized.
Right, you're a little more all over the place.
I'm a little more all
But I want to go back to something you said before, because the basis of our show, B2B, is your entrepreneurial journey, right? And what you do is a side effect of that. But you said something that is very intimidating to people. You were not a young 22-year-old when you decided, I'm going to get into title insurance. You were faced with an obstacle.
Correct.
And you needed to take care of your family.
Correct.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that feeling of, oh, my God.
So I look back, you know, I don't always give myself a lot of credit for things, but, you know, I look back on where we were in 2008 because we lost a decent amount of money. We had kids in college, and I don't know if you're familiar with the amygdala, but it's a part of your brain that controls fight or flight. So, you know, you have a choice. You can curl up in a fetal position, or you can get out and fight. And, you know, I don't curl up in the fetal position.
You fight.
So we
and
fight.
That's tremendous. And I think that as entrepreneurs, every day we need
to fight. Every day, absolutely.
And you, as an entrepreneur, there's no flight. You got to fight.
You don't have the choice.
You got to fight. You got to figure out, like, every day I'm fighting for his belt.
So is he. So is he. Do not touch the belt. He'll throw you right down. But I get what you're saying. You want to be the champion, the best.
You have to.
From customer experience. And when you hand that title over to somebody, you want to know that you gave them the best experience. They'll refer you. Everything's clean. You did it all right, because that's who you are.
100%. So, you know, if you look at, we've been in business 18 years, and we've never had a valid title claim, which not many title companies can say because of the quality of the work that we do.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Is there a part of Long Island, or maybe it's outside of Long Island, that you specialize in, or you're all over tri-state? Does it not matter?
We are New York focused, and we cover the entire state. You know, primarily New York City and Long Island.
Right.
But, you know, we go to Plattsburgh.
So how does someone find you? Give us your website, phone number.
So the website, well, the phone number is 516-741-4723. The website is Hallmark, like the cards, because we do get calls to see if we have cards.
You should start selling cards.
Hey, you know what?
A real entrepreneur would start selling cards.
Believe me, I'm thinking about it. Putting a rack in. Right. But HallmarkAbstractLLC.com.
So I'm assuming you know, business has changed since you started.
Correct.
What's the biggest change that you've seen
from a technology standpoint, or just?
Well, technology is. So the title business is an older business. The people in the business are definitely older. And I don't know that technology is embraced as much as it could be, whether it's AI. I mean, that's going to be a whole new ball of wax.
Touch everything.
No question. So one of the big changes that came in is electronic recording. So when we have to record a document, it used to be that you had to take the documents, put them in an envelope, send them to the county clerk, and you hope it got there. And if there was a mistake,
they would send it
back.
Right.
Not that we have mistakes.
Right.
But now it's electronic. So
it's there.
It's there. And it's a much better system. Plus, so we have technology online where you can input the data for your purchase, the purchase price, the mortgage amount, and immediately get a title bill.
Got it.
So, you know, there's no guessing.
You know, it's funny because I usually ask, you know, tell me about the competitive landscape of the field you're in. But it's interesting, and what problem you're solving. You've already addressed that in this question when we asked you point of differential, because I think what gives you the point of differential, number one, is owner operated. If there's an issue, we're right there. It's a husband and wife. Hey, look, we feel you.
Yeah.
You know, that's very important. We feel you.
100%.
But what are the challenges? Are your challenges finding the right people? Is it a financial challenge? Is it the housing market? What's the challenge?
Well, certainly the housing market, the commercial real estate market, all plays a role. You know, it's a transaction based business. So if transactions are not taking place, title insurance business is not taking place.
Does a refi help you, or is that not title?
No, refis, no. You have to get title on refis as well.
Got it.
But our biggest challenge is probably, it's business development,
So how do you do that? How are you building your brand awareness? I'm guessing you're playing in a stadium with some big players.
Huge players.
Huge players. So
and we're 18 years old, but
you're newbies.
Yeah. People have been around for 40 years.
18 years is a long time, like you said, but it's dog, in the title, it's like dog years. So you really need to work hard to get your brand noticed. So how do you do that? What are you and your wife doing?
So I use social media quite a bit. I try and provide value while at the same time promoting my brand. So, basically every day I'm posting on social media, my Google business page.
Organically posting on social media?
Yeah.
And you're giving fun facts or?
No, not fun facts, like facts. Like today I posted something about consumer confidence hitting a 12-year low. Because, and yesterday I posted a poll about where people think the 10-year treasury is going to go. Because, in the real estate industry, mortgage rates, of course, are key.
Right.
So you really have to, you have to provide value to people.
No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, especially in our business, and every business, it's a value-add business.
So, but
if you're just tuning in to B2B with Randy and Craig on WBAB 102.3, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, we are sitting here with Michael Holtman from Hallmark Extract Service.
Service, right.
Service. So my $1 million question of the day, and as Randy likes to say, they are sometimes 50-cent questions.
Unfortunately, they are sometimes.
That's all right.
What's the most common misconception about your business?
Basically, the most common misconception about our business, well, number one is that most people don't know about the business if they're buyers. But I think the biggest misconception is that no matter who you get title insurance from, it's all the same. That it's, like I said at the beginning, it's a commodity, and it really doesn't matter who you use.
But it really isn't a commodity.
It's really not a commodity. And, part of my job is to teach people how that is the fact.
And one way you do it is by coming on shows like this.
Absolutely.
Another way you do it, I guess, is through your social media.
Social media.
Craig rudely cut us off with the
Listen,
the promo that he loved doing.
Listen, you guys got to do what you got to do.
No, we got to do the promo. But I think that's a very valid point, and that's got to be a tough hill to climb. So are you networking? Are you social media?
I am networking nonstop.
Going to a lot of real estate events, I assume.
A lot of real estate events.
Who's your best partner?
Referral.
Yeah, referral partner.
Real estate attorneys.
Real
number
estate attorneys.
One, other attorneys who do transactional business. Number two. I'll give you an example of networking. So May 1st, there's going to be a black tie, red carpet event called it's the 3rd annual Real Estate Gala.
The Real Estate Gala, black tie, red carpet event.
Invitation only. So
I'm out.
Sorry.
I'm out.
No, you're not. You're well out.
I was ready to get it. Thanks.
Yeah.
No chance. Wait, we're being real.
No, we're being real. I'm out.
Very real.
And what is it called?
Well, it's called the Real Estate Gala, but it was formed by two guys. One is the GOAT of commercial real estate, Bob Knackel, and the other is Don Tepman, who goes by the moniker Strip Mall Guy. He's huge as well.
All commercial, this is.
Primarily commercial. And, there are only 200 invites, people from all around the country. And through networking, through trying to add value.
Are you invited?
I am. No, but it was not an easy get. It took time. It took effort.
You had to prove who you are?
Right.
Exactly.
So that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
You're sitting in a room, 200
real estate commercial real estate
how
stars.
How many title companies think are going to be there?
Probably maybe one other guy from the Midwest.
Got it.
So you came into the business. You weren't in it obviously before. You learned, I'm assuming, a lot in your time. What do you say that was the most valuable information that you've picked up along your way? That's been like.
I would say the most valuable information is that attention to detail is critical. It's like, you can do things a lot of different ways, but you need to focus on what it is that is getting done, because a lot of mistakes can be made. Mistakes cost time, and mistakes cause claims. And
terrible optics.
Terrible optics. You know what? You know as well as I do that, you build a reputation, you build a brand. It takes years to do that, and it takes one day to bring it all down. And you can't afford to do that.
And in today's world, it's even more scary because of social media, what can be done. So it almost forces you to work extra hard.
Yeah, what do they say? Good news travels fast, bad news travels even faster.
Yeah, 100%.
Without a doubt. So, we refer people to our Google business page where, we have 40 5-star reviews of people, and we get calls all the time. I mean, some places have thousands.
Doesn't matter.
We're
talking about you.
Right. And that tells people who we are.
I think that is a badge of honor. The Google reviews, whatever, so tells it very important.
100%.
And in me personally, as a businessman, if I have a bad experience, look, if I go to a restaurant and have a bad experience, as long as I didn't kill anybody, whatever, I am not a person to give somebody a bad review. I think it could be a bad day, a bad transaction at the time. And why do I want to just crush somebody because of my bad experience?
Are you a person who gives a good review?
I give good reviews all the time.
You know what? And it is so appreciated by people because most people don't take the time.
And I think that it stinks that many people are very quick to give a bad review, but not so quick to give a compliment.
100%.
And you just hit the nail on the head. You work so hard every single day just because that's who you are in your business and that's who your wife is, and you're going to give people the best experience. It'd be nice to get a kudos.
Absolutely.
But if you sneeze too loud, they're very quick to say the wrong thing.
Yeah. Amen.
It's tough. It really is tough. And I think that many times the people who will write a bad review over a bad experience are not business owners. And they can't understand that stuff happens sometimes.
No question.
Craig says it best. He steals it from me. Don't judge me by my mistake. Judge me by how I fixed the mistake.
His wife hates it when he says that.
She hates it when I say that. She says that's a bunch of crap. You made the mistake. But that's my wife. That's a different situation.
No, but you know what? You own up to your mistake, you rectify the mistake, and you apologize for the mistake.
Speaking
100%.
of mistakes, I love to ask the question that obviously not everything goes perfectly in life.
No.
So what is one mistake that had to happen in your career to make it to where you are?
I'm going to say COVID.
No, actually, COVID in the real estate market was good for real estate.
But you reinvented yourself.
No, that was 2008.
I mean, I jumped too far. I meant 2008. You needed that to happen.
Well, had that not happened, then I owned a commercial mortgage business, and that was doing well. So had that not happened, I might never have gotten into title insurance.
And who knows what would have happened. So everything happens for a reason.
You know what I would say is my biggest mistake, and I tell this to my kids all the time. They're 34, 32, and 29.
Not having kids. No.
Yeah, they do talk about that. But when I was young, I wish I knew then what I know now about networking.
Oh, you know what? Me too. I learned it later on in life. And if you network properly, and you go into a room, how can I help people?
Right.
It comes back to you.
Right.
I agree with you.
You don't walk into a room handing your cards out saying, use me.
No. I don't even know you.
Right.
Give me my
well,
card
of course. You got to build trust.
So where you are...
Rapport.
Trust.
And you can't build rapport without rapport.
Sorry about that. Every once in a while.
You know what? Listen, man, that was good.
No, the belt that he wears doesn't say he's the world's greatest comedian.
No. But you know what? The belt is good.
So I got to ask, in where you are today in your business journey, and look, the housing market is what it is, but this is a cycle. Right? So that'll always come back around or wherever it is. But do you have a scaling strategy at this point?
You know what I got to tell you? So I am constantly working to increase our imprint, our footprint in commercial. So I would like to scale us greater in commercial. Commercial is more of an old school kind of deal where, guys have been in the business for 40 years, relationships are formed.
But maybe they're tired.
Perhaps. And that's why I spend a lot of time in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, trying to build my commercial real estate.
So how does a commercial real estate agent find you? Give us the website again and all that fun stuff.
You can find us at hallmarkabstractllc.com,
We do not sell cards, by the way.
Do not sell cards.
We
no
do
Easter
not sell
cards.
cards. If you're in New York City, you can call us at 646-741-6101. And on Long Island, 516-741-4723.
Love it. Love it. So I ask everybody this question because I've gotten some great answers, and because of this
I'll try and
question.
get you one.
Oh, you will. You and I have learned a lot.
Yes.
And we've gotten compliments from listeners. Give us a book that you would recommend that as a business person. Again, the book doesn't have to be a business book.
No.
It can be something that was so impactful in your life that other people would benefit from that story.
That's interesting. To be honest, full disclosure, I don't read a lot of books.
Well, listen, you can say what I listen
You can say
to.
listen.
Nobody reads
audio
books.
books.
So, I listen to self-help, to business podcasts and I don't listen to anything specific, but just, in terms of...
Can't you just say you listen to B2B with Randy and Craig podcast and it's changed your life? I mean, can't you just say that for
goes
God's
without
sake?
saying. Listen, I didn't want to make you guys' heads any bigger than they already are.
They're pretty big. We can't get
I
out
walk
of this
around
room.
with a belt.
He doesn't get bigger than
You
this.
know what? That's true, man. That is very true. You know what? I just list. So on LinkedIn, I follow a lot of people who are, they talk about how you handle yourself, how you handle issues, how you handle problems, personal and business.
Love it.
And I just focus on those kinds of things.
It sounds to me there's a book that you would like called The Secret.
I know The Secret. Manifestation.
Manifestation, because of what you're saying to me, it's the secret.
When I go into a parking lot, I say to my wife, I'm finding a spot in the front row.
And you do.
No.
Perfect. But you say it. But you say it, which is enough.
I'm manifesting a spot.
I was at a speaking event. I wasn't speaking, and the gentleman who was running the event was talking about the energy around you when you walk into a room. This energy, how important this energy is. Make this energy. And there were a couple of younger guys sitting next to me. They were like, yeah, the energy. And I said to them, listen, at the time, I'm 57 years old. Let me tell you what the energy is. There's no aura around you. Right before you open that door, you say to yourself, remember who the F I am? You put a smile on your face, shoulders up, and you walk in that room. That's energy. That'll attract people to you.
The law of attraction.
The law of attraction.
Absolutely.
It's so important.
So now I'm 65. So when I walk into a room, first I'm kind of like I'm stumbling because I'm 65.
Well, that's a different conversation.
No question, you have to walk into the room not like you own it, but
with confidence,
like you belong in that
room. Like you belong, and you do belong. If you're in the room, you belong in the room.
Correct.
So listen, we're wrapping up. I could talk to you for another very great story. Not an hour. Another 20 minutes I could do. Not an hour. But anybody who's listening, if you're interested in being a guest on B2B with Randy and Craig and you want to share your stories, go to b2bwithrandyandcraig.com. You can fill out a form. We'd love to have you on, hear your story, just like we did with you. It'd be terrific.
Well, for B2B with Randy and Craig, that's a wrap.
Thank you for tuning in to B2B with Randy and Craig. Looking forward to hanging with you next week.